Recently, in the Amazon Prime's version of Invincible, Mark has finally fought Conquest, so it is a wonderful day to make a video, I say. It is a very popular topic. It was very cool in the comics, it was very cool in the show, so I had decided to do a fight with Mark and Baam from the Tower of God webtoon series. Both of these characters are amazing characters, and honestly, Baam is one of my most favorite characters of all time. So it's really nice to do them, and I actually think this fight is pretty close too. Starting off with Mark, he was actually able to destroy Viltrum with both Omni-Man and Thetis helping him. However, they actually had to throw off the equilibrium of the planet, otherwise they would have died on impact, and they needed a space ray to do it. Then again, the space ray can also do that to stars as well, so it's questionable whether or not that actually limits Mark. Especially later when Mark was actually able to survive in the core of a sun and much other crazier feats. One thing that should be mentioned is how there's actual statements of characters within Invincible being able to destroy entire solar systems via a chain reaction, and they were able to absorb that joule amount within their body. Then another character was actually able to kill that character, Thrag's able to kill that character, and Mark was actually able to go toe-to-toe with Thrag, although he was a little bit weaker. And whether or not you think Mark at the end of the series or the comic books is actually stronger than Thrag is up to your own interpretation. Mark is also extremely fast, being able to scale above Omni-Man and even Conquest, Alan, all those characters, and they're able to cross galaxies within a short amount of time, which would obviously be massively faster than Light Plus. Even in the show, we actually see some characters being able to move outside of entire solar systems within a few days. Even if you only stick to the show only, we know that Omni-Man is able to casually throw around meteors the size of Texas, and that's calculated to be a moon-level feat. And I would say Mark, by the time in the show, is a lot closer to Omni-Man than people wanted to give him credit for. Now, Mark doesn't really have two insane hacks, but he's really durable and has insane endurance and stamina, so that can count for something. Now, the version of Baam I'm going to be using is going to be the one that just got done training with Evankale. However, I don't really know how strong he is when using things like the Thorn and the power of the Administrator he has. Baam was able to actually master an attack and survive hits from an attack that was comparable to that of a black hole and was blatantly stated to be able to destroy large planets. And Big Breeders within the series was actually able to smack it away casually on the secret floor, and even characters like Jihad basically slapped it away as well, and that was a young Jihad. After training and learning Tension as well as Elemental Shinsu, he was actually able to get much stronger and make his black hole attacks several times stronger. To make it even crazier, he was able to power up multiple times using his Thorn. He was able to power up using his Administrator powers, igniting said Thorn. He even absorbed the Black March, and many other things. With this new power, he was actually able to defeat a young Jihad, and the young Jihad actually admitted he won. Someone who is able to no-sell people who can no-sell large planetary attacks should be pretty powerful. Baam also has some insane sensory abilities that can help him prevent your attacks from hitting him, as well as many other hacks like being able to control the entirety of space with his Administrator powers. He was actually able to hurt Caliban, who was so strong that even a high ranker wouldn't be able to scratch him. Post time skip, he actually seems to be a lot better with using his abilities for more practical uses, and he's actually got a much better control of Shinsu, being able to make massive balls of it and kill multiple people with shrapnels of it. He also knows multiple martial arts, so I would probably say he's a better fighter than Mark overall. Now, in speed, Baam is a lot more lackluster in Mark and feats, because we know characters like Yurik Mazino, when he was nerfed on the secret floor, was literally able to dodge light-based attacks, and we know that characters like Angel has light-based Shinsu, and Shinsu is described as being kind of like the world itself. It's basically described as being natural elements and whatnot. There is the potential argument that she could be using light speed attacks, and Baam is way faster than that bitch. And we also know he's faster in that version of Yurik Mazino as well, around the Jihad fight. So it doesn't really make sense to say he's slower than light speed, so he should definitely be much faster than that. The issue is, we don't know by how much the multipliers amp his speed, even though we do know he gets faster. So I can't say with confidence that Baam should be much faster than Mark. If it actually came down to a fight between these two, I think it's pretty solid. If you use the solar system meta, I think Mark wins no matter what here. He'll be much faster and he can just fly into Baam and there's nothing he can do. Now, there's a big issue with this, however. It seems like they were actually trying to imply that Mark was much weaker in this. They would have died if they didn't have something throw off the equilibrium of the planet Viltrum. As per the statements of said characters ramming into it, they were also massively injured coming out, and I seriously doubt that Baam got so much stronger that he would be able to destroy solar systems in a small amount of time. Another thing that's confusing is that Mark at the end of the series was being injured by the core of a sun. It doesn't make sense to someone who's supposed to be on the level of fucking solar systems to be able to get hurt by the core of a sun. In context, you can probably argue that Mark is around star level, most likely, thanks to the ray gun being able to do the same thing to stars, but you can't really prove that without a shadow of a doubt. Now, can Mark survive a Shinsu blast? Well, I don't think so. Mark's blast was described as being similar to that of a black hole, something that even Omni-Man was going to use to commit suicide. So it's kind of questionable to say that he could survive a direct hit from one. Especially when it's able to one-shot large plants, and Baam can not only make it much stronger, but he can actually make multiple of them. If you argue that Mark can get on top of Baam and start being on him, it might be questionable whether or not his attack potency can hurt his durability. Because Baam was actually able to survive his own Shinsu black hole when learning it. There's not really much that Baam can do if Mark just keeps hitting him over and over, but Baam does have sensory abilities that can help him track where Mark will be. So if I had to decide who I think would win more times than not, I think Baam just has two good hacks and has a really good win con for this. However, that's only if you go with the non-solar system meta. Like I said, if you use some solar system meta, then Baam is fucked no matter what. Maybe there'll be a solar system meta for Baam in the future, but I'm not really sure of that quite yet. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and there'll be more videos in the future.